Billy sir.
Sir.
Shall we start, sir?
Yeah.
Good good evening, all of you. So welcome to the third session of our day 10. So we have a speaker, Dr. Pilli Emmanuel Subhankar. Sir is currently head as well as associate professor at Computer Science and Engineering at MNIT Jaipur. Sir has served 20 years of teaching, research and administration experience. He was awarded PhD from IIT Roorkee for thesis on a framework of network forensic analysis in 2012. He completed a research project investigation the source of spoof email from UCOS Dehradun in 2016. He has co-authored a book of Fundamental of Network Forensic Research Perspective for Springer in 2016. He is guiding 5 MTech and 13 PhD students in a security forensic, cloud computing, big data, and IoT. He is a senior member of IEEE and ACM. He is a member of Cloud Computing Innovation Council of India and Forensic Science Workgroup on Cloud Computing of NIST USA. Sir has also served various responsibility at the institute level for the well-known campus-wide network area and others. Now I request Sir to please.
Yeah, thank you so much. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you as well as we can see you. Yes, sir.
Sure. Thank you. This is actually a very non-technical talk, and the sessions are basically to train you to understand various tools. And I would like to introduce a tool called Dia, which most of you may have been already been using it. It is a slightly an advantageous tool in the sense that we can use it to create good images, right? Similarly, Xfig is a tool. These tools are basically to create high resolution images, because many times when we try to use our mechanic of try to create a picture or an image in Word, actually when it is scaled onto high resolution graphic publications of good journals, or if you're going to print a thesis using laser printer and other things, right? And then obviously the images get what is called in Hindi, we call it phat jayega. It gets split into the image, the resolution is different from the print of the text is slightly different, and the image looks very low quality, right? Because the kind of file formats that we use, especially when you create in Word, the rasterization or vectorization is slightly different. So, and hence these tools, they are very good. And of course, you would have heard about a tool called Microsoft Visio. Visio is a very good tool, I would. And of course, but then it is proprietary, and hence if you have a if you have purchased it or if you have procured an access for it, then you will have it. But there are open source tools like these, right? So I will try to introduce these open source tools. Dia is one of them, and it's very easy. Just you can download and you can start using it, and there is no big experience that is required. If you just know how to draw flow charts and all in MS Word or in a Paint application, you can very easily do it on this what do you call Dia or Xfig. Both are similar. Only a little issue with Xfig is that it is Linux based, and you would need a Linux operating system where you can install. I just wanted to, I was trying to set up, but my laptop was giving some issues. So I may not be able to actually show you Xfig, because I wanted to set up a virtual machine and then run Linux environment and show you, because it's very difficult to shift between two systems, two different operating systems. And I have done some of the work, most of the diagrams which I do was on Windows operating system, and hence, of course, my laptop has both of them, but you cannot run both at the same time, as you know. Of course, with virtualization it is possible, but I was using Red Hat Enterprise Linux and Windows 10. So presently I'm using the Windows 10, and of course, fortunately, this laptop is working. There was some issue with that, right? So let me just introduce you to dia and show you, and more important, what I would like to show you is how some of the diagrams can be drawn, because I will show what some of the students who have used dia have developed, right? My own students, and a lot of their journal papers and conference papers, and you can see the difference of the image quality that is coming. Most of the time we either will have to go to a DTP office, and or somebody who is doing designing, and we go there and do it, because it is good always if you are able to get a Corel Draw image or a Photoshop image, right? So that is great. Adobe Photoshop and Corel Draw, these are very high resolution graphics that is usually used, but again it is an issue of piracy if you get a pirated version of it and install it, and ethical issue of using in a pirated software. So if you want to avoid it, then we must, as computer science people or as engineering professionals, we must usually move into always what is called the open source or licensed software. If you are able to get a licensed software, that is fine. You should learn Corel Draw and Adobe Photoshop. If you are not able to do that, because by and large we are not actually doing real full graphics in color and other things, so hence Corel Draw and imagery is not the issue here. What we need is simple block diagrams and simple flow charts that we want to do, and that is more than sufficient with a tool like this, right? So you can very easily get access to this environment, and you can do that, right? So let me show you how if you install dia, how it looks like. So just a moment, I'm sharing this thing. Are you able to see the diagram? Right? Hello? Is the screen visible? Is the dia visible? Yes. Okay. Thank you. So this is how a dia screen looks like. Maybe like any of your Paint application or Word application or any diagram. If you are familiar with other diagram drawing applications, it is also similar, and you have different shapes. It's basically what we are trying to create is different options, right? So and then here we can try to create a image, and then you can create links of how you want to do it, and then you have various boxes, and then you can fit in different kinds of text into it. So that is what it is. So maybe we can start with either a square or something. So we start with a box. Here you have a graphical kind of a chart kind of thing. So you know exactly the size. Usually the size when we draw diagrams or when we put phases in a diagram, they are all not symmetrical. But now you can exactly draw a symmetrical diagram by placing it here, right? This is what you are able to see, and then maybe I can take a copy of it, right? So and then maybe copy it and paste it. So I'm just copying it and then pasting it, so I get another copy of it. Then I try to move it, so exactly same size, right? Maybe you can put it at a different place, so you may have to extend this also, right? So this is how it is. So this is how you get two different boxes, right? Similarly, you have the same size, right? And then you can draw it symmetrical diagrams. And mostly sometimes when I review papers and I see these diagrams, or when I see a student drawing a diagram, block diagram, and trying to connect things, it becomes very difficult. So you have these kind of connectors which you can connect, right? And then you can connect an arrow where it's going, right? And then you take the other end of it and connect it, right? So it is exactly, it looks very symmetrical. Of course, there is some blur here, right? Right. So you see, it's a very straight line and that arrow size. And of course, all of these can be again edited. You can edit the properties that are there. Okay, how it looks like, the different types of arrows. You can have a simple arrow, you can have a pointed arrow, and then you can increase the size, the line style, the line color, the line width. Here you see. So if you want to make it little broad, you see that you make it bigger. You can do that, and it looks like this, right? So these are all functions which are available, and just on double click, you just select the picture and double click it, you will get all the properties, and then you can change the color also if you want, and of course the variety of things. Here there is color option, so you can go for blue, green, red, or different colors that you try to do. If you want more colors, obviously you can select from a palette, right? Palette of colors. You can create color images. But of course, when we go for journal or thesis or dissertation publications, there is always a problem, and hence we will not be able to generate that kind of information. So colors may not be really useful, but of course, if you want to, on a PowerPoint presentation, if you want to make a color presentation, you can do that. And here you can select the palette. I hope you are able to see the palette also on the screen, right? So when you select a palette here, you select the more colors from here, you get a palette, right? So that is how it is. So you can select any one of the color here, maybe a blue or yellow, any of these, and then maybe this pink, right? So once you see that and you apply it, the color becomes pink, right? So some of the things that you want, and then maybe the kind of line that you want, whether it should be a line style, whether it should be a dotted line, whether it should be, when you look at a dotted line, it looks something like this. Or maybe you want a slightly different dotted line, then you can have different distance. So you have different forms, of course, because the size is more, it looks a little difficult, different. But if you look at the size, if you can reduce it, then it looks nice, right? So this is a kind of a line which comes, right? So a variety of things that you can do with it, right? So these are how you can, if you want to go back to black, you put it all zeros, then you say, okay, so this is how it can be. So you can create these things, and maybe if you want, I want to fill this with a different color image. So again, you can try to go back to the properties and what you want to fill it with, right? The fill basically is with white color now. Maybe you want to give a light color, okay? So you fill it, so it becomes something like this. Or you can also fill even gray, different colors of gray that you like. You try to look like that, right? So you can have a different option like this, and then you can select more colors from here. Then maybe you want a gray, or you want a lighter color of gray, or darker color of gray, right? And then you can give it. So when you look at it, this is the when you want to emphasize diagram within a diagram, and you want to give the background a different color, you want to give the foreground a different color, then you can do that as well, right? So then within this text, maybe you can say, if this is some architecture, you want to mention it here, so you put the text here, and then you can start typing the architecture here, right? This is the architecture, right? So you want to put it on top, you can take it very easily. So wherever you want, you can take it, and if you want to increase the font, just double click on it, and then here you have the different fonts. You have very limited fonts. Of course, if you want to add more fonts, you have more fonts. You can select the fonts here and then check it out. So you can add all these kind of fonts that you can look at. But of course, usually keep it, select one font and keep the font common across the diagram. That's a good idea because it's very difficult, and it looks very jarred if you look at different kind of images. So you can take this, and then you can select, and then of course you want to increase the size, then you can increase the size as well. So maybe if I want to make it a little big, I'll make it 40 point, right? So obviously when I say 40, it becomes bigger. So I put it like this, architecture, right? And within that, I want to add two more boxes of a lighter color. So I have a box here, and then I copy this box and I place it here. So this is, I copy a box and I create it, so I keep it inside. So you can see here now something like this, right? So this is a kind of an architecture you are building of some other, some equipment, maybe whatever it is. So you try to build it, and then maybe if you want to actually join it, slightly tilt it also, you can take it, right? So this is how you can do it, right? So this is how you can try to improve it, right? So this is where now this is an architecture that you look at, and you can add text inside, right? And of course, if you want to add that text, you want to give what size, maybe a slightly smaller size. So here you give 30 font, and then you say A, B, C, D here maybe. So the text, the size is already set, so A, B, C, D. So this is slightly slower than this. And maybe if you want to change the font, of course, obviously you can go and change the font here, and you can give it a serif font. So it becomes slightly different, right? So you can bring in. So now what you're trying to do is you have a bigger diagram, and in that you have smaller parts. So you can set background and foreground colors, right? So this is how a clear architecture can be created. So you have these arrows which can be joined, or you can have a curve kind of thing. Maybe now you want an ellipse kind of thing somewhere in between. So there is an ellipse here. You can try to bring an ellipse, right? If you want to bring it, right? So this is something which you can try to bring. Or if you want to make it a circle, then you have to bring it closer. So you have to ensure that it is a circle. So you can try to look at it. It will be same on all sides. That is what you can look at. So you can take it to another, slightly. You can bring it, reduce it, and then you can check whether this is a circle or not. You can bring it into a area like this, and then see whether all sides are equal. So you can see that if it is not, so you adjust it so that it becomes a circle. So circle, or if you want to do an ellipse, you can create an ellipse, right? And then add the text to it, and then the variety of flow charts that are there, the symbols that are there, right? You can try to give the connectors here, right? So here, if there are 2-3 symbols are coming, so you can add, different arrows, and you can show that all coming from different sides, right? You can draw an arrow, and then you can show it that it is coming from different sides. So you can select different locations, different arrows coming into that kind of thing, right? So you have these things coming in. So from different directions, and they are being added. Or you can add any one of these symbols that are there here. Maybe if you want to show a database kind of thing, you can show it here like this, and then or a process that something, and then you can label it. So at different positions, you can take that text and label it accordingly. And this can be a kind of diagrams, right? So that you can build these kind of things. So now this is all left to exploring. All the tools are here, and maybe you want to give a slanted text here. So you have you can tilt it, and then you can make it into different sizes. Okay, you can adjust the text, right? So that is a kind of thing that you can try to look at what is the text content here you have, and then you convert it. Okay, and then you can try to increase the text and other things. So here, sorry, so, so you can very text kind of what do you say, a double lined kind of text. So you can improve it, right? So you can try to build these kind of informations which are created, a variety of things that are there, and of course you can edit, and then you can draw different jagged lines also, uh, then you can add on to that, and variety of diagrams where we can show the decision making and connect it to different sources. Maybe if you want to just put some quotation also, you can put a quote kind of thing, usually when people want to show that from here this thing means this, and then you can actually make this the thing also coming out. So you can remove the border if you don't want to. You write the text and later you want to remove this border. Like for example, if you want to remove this border, you can go to the properties and then make it totally transparent, right? So that is something you don't want to give color, no color. So you can just try to remove that and then give the same color. Okay, so what happens when you apply that, you see that there is no border, right? So you can do a variety of combinations like this. And this is very simple. So the palette is here, and the properties are here. Just select it and double click it. You have a variety of properties. You can usually use it as and when you want, right? So that is something. And these lines, you can again design it here. You have a variety of lines here. You can move it, and here also you have a variety of are you able to see this? A variety of symbols that we use in either electronics or electrical, or computer science. You can have variety of symbols which can be used, right? And then look at the symbol as you look at, right? If you apply this and draw an arrow, okay, you take an arrow and draw it. Later you can try to modify it accordingly, right? right? You see the end point here. So if you see the diagram here, you see that this endpoint has been selected from the it is a kind of a rhombus towards the end. So a variety of options are here. You can select from any of these, and then if you select a diagram, right? So that kind of a thing comes up, right? You can have a line size also. You can increase the line size, and then you can select a line of that size. So when you draw a line, so it becomes like that. So with the double we have selected the double arrows here, so you can have the double arrow. And later, if you want to reduce the size, now it is 0.2. So if you make it 0.1, okay, so it becomes thinner. And of course, it's a bigger size, so you try to bring in, and then it becomes. So these are the kind of options that you can explore. And the biggest advantage here towards the end of this thing is that whenever you want to save the file, right? So obviously it is saved as a dia file, but you can export, right? And you can export the image, and export the image, you can go to a JPEG format, right? And then here is the biggest strength of it, right? What is the biggest strength? You would have heard about different file formats, and of course dia is a file format which is the extension for dia software. But then you have a variety of you can get a PDF format, you can get a PNG format, you can get an EPS format, that is an encapsulated PostScript format, or you can get a JPEG format. And JPEG is again multiple types of JPEG. You can have a scalable vector graphics. The image resolution becomes so high, right? So whenever you are taking this image into any of these things, so you can you would have heard most of these images, and you can put it into of course you can convert it into an XFIG also. Most of the latex files required XFIG extension, so you can directly convert into an XFIG format, which is .fig extension. When you use XFIG, it is .fig. You can also convert it into a TIFF, tagged image file format, TIFF. You can create a TIFF file. You can create a bitmap file, BMP. You can create a GIF file also. Of course, you can add some this thing. So PNG, and then of course, obviously. So I have basically used the EPS many times, and it's easy to embed a PDF file right into LaTeX. So you can directly go into that and embed a PDF file, and it's very easy to take care of that. So you don't have to really worry about the resolution. All these things are set here, so you can export to any of these formats and then save it into that file, and later you can add it into a LaTeX file, or maybe you can copy it into a Word document also. The kind of image resolution that you get is very high. So the first time when I did my first paper, I think in 2010 it was, so we didn't have all these. Of course, we had XFIG, but I did not explore at that time. So I was trying to do it, and then we sent it to the journal, and journal finally accepted, and then it came with the what do you call, the article in press format, right? Or they would send a camera ready version, right? Proof for that, right? So approve the proof. So I was very ashamed at the pictures, because the whole typeset was very nice and very beautifully they had done, but my images were all very broken, right? And they were all looking very jagged and very disproportionate. So the size, the text, the font, everything was not good. So I took the printout, and then I went to a DTP person, and he charged actually per hour, right? He didn't take per picture or something. He said, how many hours I will take, that much money I will take. So he charged by the hour. So every 1 hour he would spend, he asked me something at that time, 10 years ago, maybe some 70 rupees or something. Right now, I think they'll be charging some 300 rupees or something, right? But because I drew the diagrams in Word and I took it, he could easily copy those diagrams, copy the text, and do it, because if you had to do it from scratch, it would have taken a lot of time. But that was an experience. And then later I sent those images, and then again they sent me a proof, and it was so nice, right? So later I realized, then I asked him, sir, you give me in all these formats. So he said, jo bhi format chahiye wo le lo, because he designed in Photoshop, or I think Corel Draw. And from Corel Draw, he gave me in a TIFF format, he gave me an EPS format, he gave me a PNG format, he gave it in PDF files and all these things. And finally, I used the PDF only to generate the LaTeX files and all. And I sent those files. And of course, I sent the EPS also, because they prefer an EPS format, and they did it, and they were so nice. And after that, I would again go back to a DTP operator, my students, their work and all. I wrote one book also. At that time also use the this thing. But then I asked students to now search and get master a tool, and finally they mastered this tool called Dia. And all my students use it, and I want to show some pictures how they are generated. So you have these file extensions. Very easily you can get a TIFF file or a scalable vector graphics files, which is called SVG, or you can get an EPS encapsulated PostScript, or you can get a simple PDF as well. So directly you can take a PDF file and then you can use it straight away. The portable document format, you can get it. You can get a PNG format, and variety of formats are there. So you can use any of them, and you can export it and get a new diagram, right? So this is something which is very easy. So of course I use in my office work also. Recently somebody was asking me to give me a scheme of an architecture of hierarchy within a particular department, right? How do we propose a structure, who work under him, who will report to whom, and all that. So I drew a structure of these things, and it was very easy because to bring in a symmetry and to connect a variety of things, it was easy using arrows and all, and the diagram looks very symmetrical. And then I used lighter color in a box and darker color in a box, and within the hierarchy, if you wanted to show that all boxes which are at the same level will have a same color. So it was very easy to bring in a context concept like that. So you will also appreciate as you tend to use it, and you would have used, I'm sure most of you would have used Visio or other tools, and Dia is a tool which is of course very handy in this. So that is what it is. So what I was trying to explain, I will show you what I meant. So if you can put a darker color here to indicate this thing, so you can take a different color here, and then within the what do you say, the fill color that you have, the background that is there, fill color is a particular color here, white. Now I want a lighter color, or I go from what do you say, these colors here. So in the text you can see the color difference. So here it will be this thing, or maybe this color is not visible in our black and white pictures. So you can actually select a background which you can pick up from that set of colors which are light color, dark color. So you can take a slightly darker color or even slightly darker color, and then you can do it. And then of course when we enter a text here, then it will be slightly different. So you will have to change the color of the text, right? So when you type here, so this is not you type here. Then here you have the color here. So there you change the color to white, right? And then you have the font. So right? So I think this is being selected. Right? So of course different things, line color, fill color, right? So this is something that you can try to look at, right? So a variety of file formats here. You can take a different color, and then you can go with the color here, the background color that is there. Slightly darker color, right? So this color is slightly darker than this, so you can do that. And maybe you want to give a bold color to this, so you can have bold here, or bold and italic also if you want. So you have you can make it, you can make the text bold. If you want to increase the size slightly, the text size here, so this is text. Which is the text here, so you can increase the size of this text. First we have to select the text here, then we can come here, then we can try to select the text. Okay, now the background color, the text has moved, right? So those are also issues. So you'll have to make changes in that also, right? So these are the mechanisms that we can use. And then of course we can add some layers, one layer on top of the layer that I have already shown you. You can try to insert some objects, and these are functions which are there in Word also, send to back and send to front. Some images can go backward, some images can come front way, right, and so on. So maybe if this image goes like this, let me just try, right, this is something like that. Now I want the background image to come to the front. So what I can try to do is I try to move the object. So I want to bring it front, so I will say bring to front. So you can see that it has come on top of the second image. So this is something that you can try to look at, right? So this is the kind of images where you want to overlap them, and some part of it covering the other part, you can try to bring in something like that. So these are the advantages, but more important, let me try to do something where I will show you the output of some of these images which have been done. I will share those PDFs so that you will really appreciate what is actually happening, right? So how these are coming up and how it looks like, right? So let me share some PDF files which students have generated. So this is how some of the images look like. Hope you are able to see the image. This has been drawn using dia, and very clearly we can try to bring in. So I will show you different pictures which have been drawn. So this is a diagram which is completely drawn using dia, where you see that a variety of options that are there, right? I will put it into full screen so that you can appreciate, right? So this is how it looks like. You can very easily embed into a LaTeX, Beamer. This is a PowerPoint presentation which was pre-created with Beamer software, LaTeX PowerPoint presentation. LaTeX presentation, you can call it, not PowerPoint. PowerPoint is PPT X, but this is basically you get a PDF out of it, and in that you can place this image. So now you see, I was talking about this is having a different color. Here the tenant VM portion is having a different color, and the kernel space is having a different color. You are able to see differentiate these two color images, so you can understand the difference between them. And here I want to show that this is an inbuilt content. These are not processes. This is some content which is available on the system. So I'm showing it with a dotted lines. Here also the hook-based guest OS hook-based VMI, virtual machine introspection. Maybe some of the technical concepts here. Anyway, that is not important. Today, what we are understanding is these lines. Okay, these lines, that bold lines, are system calls, and there is another concept which are called hypercalls, which are in dotted lines. So wherever you are seeing dotted lines, they are all hypercalls. Wherever you see bold lines, especially in these kind of systems, you can say that they are hypercall. System calls. So that kind of differentiation you can try to very easily bring in, and you can try to show the difference. So this is how another architecture was designed, and this was published in one of the conference in Australia, HPCC, High Performance Computing Conference. So it is a very prominent conference, and this was a simple architecture. As you look at, there is a different arrow used here and a different arrow, and these arrows can be generated very easily using the shapes that we have, right? So all this entire diagram is generated using dia, right? And this was to explain the whole concept. What was explained here, this is now actually put up as a component wise, as a complete architecture is explained in this. So where the data is flowing, where the data is coming from, right? So you have multiple layers here, and then you can see that there is a virtual machine here. There is one box which is an outer box here, and there is an inner box, and there's another box which is showing different portions of it, right? And the connectivities are also dotted and bold, and you can have a variety of things to represent, right? So these are options that are there, and later again somewhere this is another mechanism to explain, right? You can see this outer box is one thing, and then this layer is differentiating one check from the other check, and then there are two different layers. So kind of a bifurcation you are trying to bring in, and data is coming from top, data is going. So you have seen how I have shown that connecting of arrows which move at different lines, and then you can have both way pointed lines. Here the arrow is having on both sides, you can get that easily, and then you can put the text. So the diagram looks more or less symmetric, right? So that is something which can be easily generated using this thing. And also, some of these things can be easily drawn. This is an outer box, this is an inner box, and of course you can put the labels, which are numbers again here. So they can be easily put, the text can be put, and you can move it to that location. So that is something that you can try to do it, right? So this is how an image is created, right? And then you can actually create a bigger diagram. And this is the whole concept of a virtual machine here on a cloud kind of an environment. And then you have multiple parts. So this is one part, this is another part, this is a third part, this is the fourth part. So each of them are labeled at different levels. So you can create a very good flow chart, right? Where the control is coming from, where the control is going, and if you want to take it from different directions, you can take it, and then you can create a very strong diagram like this, right? So these are examples of how things have been shown, right? So this was very difficult to actually represent initially, but as we explored this diagram, it was very easy to draw diagrams like this, very complicated diagrams like this. You see it in a bigger screen, like so you have different links also, which are kind of shown. This is a link, this is a link. So between these two, there's a link, and different components are there, and different components again, they have a this whole thing is network related, virtual network related kind of, and these are DOM0 and this is DOM2, two different machines are there. So kind of architectures, if you want to draw, I'm sure your concepts are different, and your techniques and algorithms are different, but the lines, the phases, the connectivity, everything is same. So you can try to use these kind of things which I have extensively used. I will also share a little early. Also, there's a bigger diagrams which can be used. So this was one diagram, and later a kind of complete architecture of our how we deployed different functions. So there are different functions, 3 functions, 1, 2, and 3. So we could easily show, and their interconnectivity between those functions also you can look at. And then this is one good diagram that we could do. This is an architecture of where attacks are happening. So there are different images, different system, 1, 2, 3, 4, and in that there are different virtual machines, and there's a hypervisor, there's a hardware. Connections are coming from different. So there's a different network, which is external network, is shown with the dotted line. Then there's a tenant network, as you see on the top, if you're able to see on the top. Yeah, you are able to see here, this is a tenant network, and then there is a management network. So all are different colors we have used, and we could easily represent that point. And this is another diagram to show different kind of attacks which happen at different layers. So a layer diagram, everything is created in dia, right? The curve can also be coming within a text. You can bring a curve. I'll show that a little later. So towards the end, you can make a border. The border can be a pure square, or the border can be slightly rounded at the end, so that you can have that mechanism, and all these text can be entered, and then again this can be bold, and this can be simple text, so you can enter that. This can be bold, and as I showed some databases here, the storage kind of a mechanism, you can show it. So all these things can be very easily created. And to bring in another color concept, so just change the color of that image, and then it becomes slightly different. So these are ways that you can beautify your this thing. So this is one, and then this entire thing is created on dia amazingly. So you can see the symmetry of those what you call the boxes which are there. Of course, here, because there are more boxes are coming, the size is reduced because the less small boxes here. Here also, as the number of boxes are increased, of course you can still beautify this image. I'm not saying, and of course as much as they could do that, students would have done it. So that is what. So we have seen one part. I will share another part with you. So you can see another model. Are you able to see this model? Because I'm in the same application I'm showing. So you could easily show this diagram, right? Hope I am, yeah, sure. So you are able to see, and here you see that these are, and of course here I wanted to emphasize that this is a direct, we are going first step, but the second steps which are going are slightly in a different size, because they are indexed and partitioned and indexed and only partitioned. and a triple. So this is a kind of an image. Of course, this diagram we have recently created. The similarity, the symmetry. So these arrows mean something. This is input and this is output, but these arrows means internal steps, right? So that's a kind of a knowledge that you kind of build up, right? So then there is a Hadoop mechanism or a Spark, RDF store and in-memory store and in a variety of things that are there. So you can try to do that. And of course, towards the end also, I will show you one more complicated diagram which was created, right? So it could be, so all these, this kind of a diagram, when you see, it becomes a little, very complicated, right? So you can see this, this is a darker color, there is a light color, and in that there are white, and then this whole thing appears a simple box, right? If you want to bring that out, it would have been difficult slightly, but now you are able to easily use 4 colors, 1, 2, 3, right? It is 3 colors, and then you can bring out the truth, right? And this color and this color are same. So these are 2 layers you can look at, right? There's a data partitioner, there's a query injection, okay? And then you have the different steps here. This is Hadoop, the complete thing. And within that, you have a HDFS. Within that, you have a MapReduce code running. So similarly here, database, you can show it in a different format. And, these connections, right? Now, these interactions are different. These interactions are different, and these interactions are different. These interactions are different. So all those are different colors, different lines, right? So you can use that. Of course, because all these are going to get published in journals, we use black and white because we don't get a color graphics availability in, or they charge for printing colored images. So we try to look at something like this. So this is another aspect. So there are variety of images like this, and they have been published. And this is another diagram that another student has created. So you can look at that. So there are some of these things are available as images inside, right? You can try to bring in them, the cloud kind of thing can be created, and this can be created. So you are able to show how the partitioning happens, right? So this is a federated cloud, and then there is a federated manager. There is a cloud broker that I want to show on top, right? So then there are users on the top, right? So the users are sending some requests, and there's some allocation which is done. There is a service selection, service discovery, all these things can be managed, the SLA, and also you can see the symmetry. And sometimes when there's a bigger thing, so it means there is a slightly different, all others are same size, right? So they are service discovery, service selection, service allocation, they are all at the same level and the same size. The text is also same, right? So this kind of a diagrams that you can try to create. So these are the all these diagrams. So why I wanted to show that, because the diagram, the dia itself is not so, but how a diagram can be created like this is what I wanted to show, because once you see these diagrams, oh, these are looking like very good diagrams or from a journal kind of thing, but they are pretty well, they are drawn on simple, a tool called Dia, and these colors and all these things are managed. And you can also select the text which goes along with the journal that you have submitted. The journal publishes some papers, and then you can look at the papers, and then you can see the text font of that journal paper, right? Sometimes they use a sans serif, sometimes they use a serif font. Serif font is without any curls will be there. It will be plain text. This is a serif font, right? But there will be some fonts which use what is called sans serif. So you have what is called serif is the where the kind of a Times New Roman kind of a text comes, and Arial kind of a text is what is the serif font. Your usual Gmail text that we type is a serif text, and then the Times New Roman text that we type on a Word, which comes as default sometimes, is basically sans serif font, right? So that is something that you can look at that, right? So these are some options that I looked at. I just want to take out those files to show you how it is different before and after using a graphics format like Dia to get EPS files. So I'll open those files. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can try to look at that. Once I open those files, I'll just show the difference between the file I submitted to a journal first, and how it looks like in a camera ready, and how it was when I added a file. So if you have any questions, meanwhile, you can ask me. I'm just opening those 2 files, the 2 PDFs. So just once I open that, I'll join with you.
Sir, I think there was one question from Kusum Anjali Deshmukh. She is asking that
Okay.
is 3D figure drawing possible with this?
3D figure in the sense, yes, you will have to layer it, right? So that is what I was showing. You can explore a layering approach. You can put one layer on top of the other and make it look like a three-dimensional picture. Is there is no three-dimensional image, but you can try to get the three-dimensional effect out of it, right? So that is something that you can try to do. It looks a little projection. So it all depends on how you project the image. So what you need to do is you need to draw three two-dimensional diagrams and connect them. So a little bit of computer graphics thought process goes into it. So maybe if you have studied graphics, you need to project it and create an image which looks like a 3D image, right? So those layers can be created and that can be thought about. So that can be looked at, right? So that is possible.
Yes, sir. I think another question is, I think, is it open source software, sir?
Yes,
Can-
yes. This Dia is open source. Absolutely no problem. Otherwise, I would not be discussing because again, the license issues. Xfig is also open source. Xfig is also you can get it from very clearly. You can get it, and there is absolutely no problem.
Okay. Sir, Pawan Kumar Shukla is asking, Dia is very good, sir. But
Yeah,
how it is different from PPT? I can draw the figure in PPT also and Word also.
yeah. I'm just showing you the difference. That is why I'm opening this file. Otherwise, I would not have taken this time because what I'm trying to do is they sent me a proof, right? So once the journal paper sent me a proof, I'll show you how the diagram look like. And then when I used a tool called Dia, because PowerPoint also I will be able to do all these things, right? So I am just going to show you the difference between those things, and then you will realize, then you will appreciate what is the use of some of these things, right? Just one more, give me one more minute. That's all. Sorry. Right. Just let me share the PDF. Yeah. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir. We are able to see.
Yeah, yeah. So before I submitted the proof, this is how the proof looked like, right? Are you able to see the proof? This was drawn in MS Office, right? So when I submitted, of course, it was very nice. There was absolutely no problem in submission. Submission was looking nice because when I submitted, the diagram was very nice only. There was no problem. The diagram looked very nice. Let me show you how that diagram also was. So where it was, right? Okay. It was looking very normal, but when it came onto the text, finally when they sent me the camera ready paper, they sent everything was set so nicely, right? So it was looking so nice. But when I looked at these picture, right, then I let me show you how it looks like, right? So this picture is okay, Phoebe. This is better, right? So then the other pictures within that, when we went the other way in the proof, as you see this. Sorry. see this diagram here. If you see, this is how the diagram looks like. Are you able to see the diagram? Right? You're able to see the text on the right hand side, right? Are you able to see the text on this side, establishment DNS queries? See the text font and see the font here, incident response, right? Maybe a similar looking font. This is also Times New Roman. This is also Times New Roman. But see the amount, the way the picture is looking like. These are drawn in MS Word and PowerPoint, right? So then I felt no, journal publish ho raha hai, zindagi bhar log dekhenge. How can I keep it like this, right? So this is many times we leave it, and I think if you look it in a small this size, it won't be visible. But when you actually blow it up, then you will see it. So then you see the difference here between this and this. You will be able to immediately differentiate, right? So look at this this image here, which is coming here. Just see this image. This is how it looks. This is how it looked like, right? And immediately after seeing this image, right? This is a kind of an image which is created in a high resolution image, and this file was in EPS format or PNG format, any of the formats that you can use. This is how the vector, the what is called scalable vector graphics will look like, or scalar vector graphics, SVG file or PNG file or EPS file looks like. And very easily Dia can generate such a high resolution diagram for you. And I paid a lot of money to get these things done. So whatever I was telling you, right, it can be very easily drawn. And see this image now, right? The previous diagram that I was showing, the comparison, right? Now see the kind of image, right? And see the kind of text which is next to it, right? So if you see these images, so then you understand the importance of trying to get a very high resolution graphical image that can be prepared. So this is something which you can see, right? And the circle also, which was created earlier, if you look at in one of the papers. So because they set the type paper so nice. So once I saw this journal paper, then I realized, no, I cannot send something like this. So then I brought this system, and then I saw it. So the entire lines, everything is so nice in the portable graphics image, or any of these file extensions that you get for graphics images. So for that, I had to change this. And then once you see this diagram and you see the arrow size and the arrow edges, you see the quality, right? So as much as you increase the size, now it is in, I think, 875%, right? Then also there is no fat nahi ja raha, so that is something that is very important. So you can look at that, and then you can see the differences, and you will understand that it is very difficult. So I just showed these proofs, two proofs, before and after, so that is very important. And it adds a lot of value, right? No cost, free, and it is a matter of time. You will need to invest some time, and just imagine the time it would have taken for the student to draw this diagram, or try to create a concept like this. So the paper came into review because this was a generic diagram which we created to explain, but the reviewers felt that this is a good proposal which has been proposed. Why didn't you elaborate it? Why didn't you put it in the abstract? Then we had to rewrite. Now it is not a proposal. It is only a framework which we thought conceptually and pictorially we represented. So the picture has attracted. Hey, this is a good framework. Why don't we propose a framework like this? Right? That's the reviewer's thought process. Sometimes, so this is how these things can actually benefit. And a lot of these diagrams can be easily drawn to represent your thesis option. And in the thesis, all these things go, so the reviewer also feels happy. And of course, there's still some beautification which can be done. There's a lot of white spaces in this diagram. If you see, there is a lot of white space here and white space here. So you can bring the symmetry, you can increase the size, proportionally adjust, because in Dia you have those graphical, it's like a graph sheet, right? So you know the exact size. Okay, I want to fill this, I want to fill this, how much I can scale, all those things can be looked at, right? So I think just last one bit of point that I wanted to share, to just show that smoothing of that text. Anyway, you can easily pick it up also. It's not a big thing. So this diagram is there. Let me increase the size of the diagram, then you can understand it. So the line color, font increase. right? So I'll make it like this, and then you can try to bring a curve here. Very smooth the line style. Corner radius, right? Corner radius. Are you able to see the corner radius? Right, the corner is now come a little curve that you would have observed, right? So maybe you can increase the corner radius. Right, you're able to see the corner radius, and then as you scale it also, you can see the image difference, right? You can see the, right? So this is a curve that you are getting, right? So now you are getting a curve here, right? So this kind of an image can be easily created, and you can do that, right? So a variety of images you can try to generate here also. There are a lot of curved images can be created, so you can do that. And for square, rectangle, and other things are there. So hopefully you had a meaningful time, and I think it is time to explore more, right? And nobody has become a master. Everybody can learn. So nobody taught me Microsoft Office. Neither would have taught anybody of you. You did not attend a formal lecture or formal class. Please put a word. The font can be set like this and all. Nobody would have taught, right? So it's very simple to just pick up these concepts. And similarly, Dia is easy to pick up, and it's more to explore. And as you keep exploring, you will get more ideas. You can draw a variety of diagrams. So hopefully. Though it is a non-technical session, but this is important from the point of explaining the importance of pictures. And similarly, Xfig is a similar tool which you can, if you are very comfortable with Linux, please try Xfig, and it looks very similar to what it is, and you will be able to save a file in Dia also, and you can generate any of these file formats as an extension, and you can embed it into a LaTeX file. So you can do that, right? So I wish you all the best, and thank you so much for your patience.
Thank you, sir, for covering the basic thing, which actually as a faculty also we require when we are publishing an article. Thank you, sir. So, sir, if you allow, I think there are few questions.
Okay.
They have posted. So,
yeah, sure.
So one question I am taking from a YouTube live session, which is also running there. Over there, the descent is asking, is there any website instead of software in which the diagram can be made online?
Yeah, definitely there will be. I have not explored, but there will be, because these days you have a lot of these debuggers and online tools which are there. Any programming language, you don't need an editor now. You can directly go onto a website and do it. In fact, LaTeX itself, you have Share LaTeX. You can go on Share LaTeX and just straight away run those codes and check it out. And you can create the entire this thing that can be done. So in a similar sense, you can also have these, what do you call, you may have a lot of diagrams where you can directly draw the diagram, and then you can embed a lot of these inbuilt components also, and then change it into another file format and get an extension, get a file out of it, right? It's very easy now. Like any of these Adobe tools may have an access, a cloud kind of an access. A lot of times now you see Office 365, it is there, where you can log in and create the Word documents and save the Word documents and take it out. But you will have to pay a license fee. You don't have to buy MS Office license per se, but then you will need that kind of an access. You can do it on a cloud. So these things are definitely, they will be available. I have not explored because now we don't actually draw diagrams. Unfortunately, I don't draw diagrams. Students do it mostly, and I correct it. So I doubt it, but I mean, I'm not doubting that there won't be any, but I don't have a direct. Maybe I can share that answer as a reply some other time, right?
Thank you, sir. Sir, Kavita is asking that is there any graphical tool for drawing electrical and electronic circuit with high resolution?
Yeah, most of the symbols that I have shown are electrical symbols also. and then you can draw using Dia itself. And Xfig also has a lot of these options. Xfig, XFIG is the other tool. But again, that is a Linux environment. That is Unix kind of a system or Linux kind of a system that you will need to set up. Of course, Xfig is available for Windows also. You may get an equivalent version. Somebody would have ported it, so you can get that. So a lot of these symbols are available, right? So you can, and of course, as long as you want to make life easy, then what happens is you will need to get a slightly add-on, which will be costly, which you will have to pay a subscription and get that this thing. So any symbols like electrical symbols and things like that, which you can't create, which you don't want to create, because once you create, you can reuse it and you can share it with other friends also. So that is something that you can try to look at, right? And I'm not sure exactly, but yeah, you will get provided. You can contact any one of the people who are there, or maybe you can Google it around. You will get it. But whatever symbols you want to create in electrical, you can create using Dia as well. A lot of electrical engineers colleagues use Dia in our institute also.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Another question from Krishma Desai, sir. He's asking you, do the resolution change with the compression of the file?
When you compress the file, definitely resolution changes. But of course, as we talk about vector graphics, it is only lines and black and white color. So usually there is not much of a change, not much of a variation that is there. But of course, if you are using some other compression, and then if the good compression mechanism is not used, then there's a problem. When you use JPEG, when you save a file in a JPEG format, it is also compressing. There is in fact, you study all these things in sorry for the bird that is making a lot of noise. Can't help it. Nature is now free because of COVID situation. But yeah, well, coming to the answer, yes, definitely that is there will be a slight reduction, but of course, depending on the compression and the decompression tools that you use. So many of these file formats that we have been talking, encapsulated, PostScript, and all these are all good compression issues. So you can get a good file. But of course, when you in the JPEG itself, you have 3 levels which you can save. When you are saving a PowerPoint image, you can see that you are saving in JPEG. It shows whether it is for web using, whether it is for printing, or whether it is for just for a book or something, right? So for publishing or for website or for a graphic, right? So you can store that. So obviously there is a loss of resolution.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Probably the last question, sir. Rajkumar Soni is asking, can Dia downloadable MacBook as well?
MacBook must be. Some of these tools are either created for Linux or Windows per se, but should be, because Dia is now a popular tool. You should be able to get I have not Googled around, but yes, you may get it.
Okay. Okay. Thank
Obviously,
you, sir.
you can create a Windows this thing on MacBook, and then you can install it. So usually you have these customizable interfaces on MacBook. MacBook is very Mac facilitates a lot of things. You can run a small Windows component on that and install some of these applications. You can create a container on that, and you can do that. So you can try, you can explore. It's not very difficult. A lot of my colleagues who have MacBooks, they run a lot of Windows or Linux applications directly using some of these container tools. Just explore.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for all the answers. Thank you for your expert talk on a very good topic. Thank you, sir.
Sorry that I could not cover Xfig because of some problem in the system, and I could not manage both the windows at the same time. I needed one more system, which was difficult, so that was a problem. But it's exactly the same, so you don't have to worry. Once you install Xfig and you start exploring it, it is almost the same. Almost 19 bees for a code.
Okay, thank you, sir. Bharat sir, if you want to add something.
Yeah, thank you, Phil sir. And it's really a very wonderful talk about that, and it is really useful for the research faculties, those who are doing some research, as well as for the class teaching also. So these things are really very useful, and hopefully the participant has already got an idea, at least, because I can understand in a 1 hour talk, it's really difficult to explain each and everything over there. But they have at least, they have somewhere they have initiated, will initiate, and now they will be able to manage all those things. So thank you for your talk and a wonderful session, and thank you for accepting our invitation. I know that you are already busy with another workshop which is going to be started from Monday. That's the quantum computing. And even though in this busy schedule, you have given time, and we are really thankful to you for this. And on behalf of both the academies, we are really thankful. I know that you are a part of the academy also, because you are a co-CIO of the MNIT Jaipur Academy. But still, thank you so much for your coming. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
thank you, Amitji. Thank you, Bharatji. Right.
Yeah.
So, Bharat sir, I think Preeti Madam is already joined. Good evening, Preeti Madam.
Good evening, I'm here.
Good evening, Preeti ma'am.
Ma'am, I have assigned a role as a presenter to you. Now you can share.
Okay, I can share the presentation.
Okay. Check it out whether it is working or not.
You can hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Yes,
you, ma'am.
yes, yes. We can hear you, ma'am.
Okay. So I can begin now.
Wait a minute, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. I think, madam, you can share. It is not your content is not shared yet now.
Yeah, I'm sharing it now. Yes.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
in the, just to utilize the time, let me uh, do the introduction. So, good afternoon to Preeti ma'am, and I'm really happy to introduce Dr. Preeti. And Dr. Preeti is the associate professor in English Department of MNIT Jaipur, and teaches and research in 20th century fiction, Indian writing in English, narrative theory, diaspora studies, and communication skills. She has authored experiment in narrative techniques in the novel of Muriel Spark, and has co-edited 2 books. Dr. Bhatt has published several research papers in national and international journals, and has organized an international conference, a national conference, and several faculty development programs at MNIT Jaipur. She has also presented international conference at NTU, LTAUA, Oxford University, Pang China University, Taichung, and Dubai, with travel grant by the UGC and the concerned university. Dr. Bhatt had successfully supervised several PhD scholars and has worked on research projects funded by the UGC and by the British Council. Dr. Bhatt is currently working on a year-long research project developing English skills for employability, that is empowering engineering students of Rajasthan in a globalized world, in collaboration with faculty of CTAE Udaipur under the TechCube 3 collaborative research scheme with a grant of 16 lakhs from MHRD. So I welcome you, ma'am, and thank you so much for coming here. And now it's over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for the introduction. I thank the organizers of this FDP for inviting me to share my thoughts. And it's a wonderful opportunity to connect to participants from all over India. So I find it a privilege, really. Thank you so much. So I'm going to talk about ICT tools for English language teaching and learning. How we can utilize technology, to teach English better, and what tools are available which we can use during our classroom, so that students are more interested in the class, they are more responsive, and there is more interaction, so that language skills can be learned only by interaction. You cannot teach a language only by theoretical reading. They have to participate, they have to use that language to be able to master it. And for that, ICT tools are very, very useful. So this is what I'm going to talk about in this session. So I want you all to close your eyes and picture your classroom when you were a college student. Now make a list of all the technology in the classroom that you can remember. So I don't know, we may be having research scholars here as participants, faculty, senior faculty. So just recall the time when you were a college student and try to remember what technology you had in your classroom. So what I remember was a chalkboard and yes, books, but no OHP. Video cassette player might have been, computer, no, not at all. So just try to recall what technology was being used 25 years ago. Now list the technology you would expect to see if you walked into the classroom today. But now the modern classrooms are very different from those old time classrooms. So what technology would you expect to see now? What would still be there? What would be new? So what things would have been replaced and what new things would be there? Yes, somebody is writing chalkboard. Yes, that is what we had in those old times. And nowadays we have the whiteboard, we have the smart board, and we have such a lot of technology. Yes, OHP projector, somebody is writing. So very different scenario from what we have today. And so since we have such a lot of help, such a lot of technological aid, we can utilize it to make our class more effective and more interactive. I'm going to talk about significance of using ICT tools in the English language classroom, computer applications that can be useful to supplement English language teaching, online resources, websites, and language learning apps. Technology has always been a part of teaching and the learning environment. It is a part of a teacher's professional tool. In other words, it is among the resources that teachers use to help facilitate student learning. So it is like a toolbox for us, and we can choose and we can plan what tools to use for each class. And it requires some planning, it requires some effort. But once you have access to technology, you can make your classes more effective and interactive. So this presentation focuses on the technologies that are available to teachers to support the teaching strategies. We are going to discuss software, applications, and resources that support teaching and learning of English. We should consider the tools that English language teachers can use to help their students use, create, manipulate, and share information on computer devices and over computer networks. So what tools can we use, to create information, to share information through computer devices and through networks? Technological devices and networks have changed our schools and classrooms. In India, technological investments in schools and colleges have been made at the state level and at the national level through initiatives such as the National Mission on Education using ICT and e-Pathshala of the Digital India program. So from the government also, there's a lot of support and a lot of technological investment, due to which, there is more access to computers and to digital technology. Pradhan Mantri Gramin Shiksha Saksharta Abhiyan is the scheme aimed to make one person in every family digitally literate, thus helping children also to be tech savvy. So this is again another scheme. So it aims to make one person in every family digitally literate. And so in this way, children are learning to be tech savvy. Educators and researchers point to the potential of technology to increase motivation and engagement of learners, cater for different learning styles and improve learning outcomes. So we very well know how much attracted children are and young people are to technology. And in fact, if that is one way in which we can teach them well. So there is already a lot of engagement of learners and motivation for using technology. And if we can use it for teaching, it is going to be very effective. And also since we have different kinds of levels, different kinds of study material, resources available, so we can cater to different learning styles uh, according to the aptitude of the student and improve the learning outcome. The need to keep pace with society and prepare students for their roles in society are important reasons to use technology in education. So we have to keep pace with the progress in the world, and we have to prepare our students because they are going to take over later on as they start working, as they start maybe an entrepreneurship venture. So they have to be savvy with technology. They should know how technology can be used in the best way. Why should we integrate ICT in the English language class? What is the purpose of integrating ICT? Like any other subject, if we are using technology, it allows effective collaboration. Students can collaborate, teachers and students can collaborate. And it is not single kind of individualized kind of learning, but it is a collaborative learning. Provides instant feedback on language performance in various tasks and exercises. So with the help of technology, you can have instant feedback. So it's easy using these aids, to respond to students' performance. Otherwise, normally a teacher would find it very hard, to give individual feedback to each student, which we used to do earlier. But now this facility is available with the computer software. It can also be an extension of the classroom and can be time saving. So you can allow students to continue their work, their studies at home, and use that technology even at home. And it can be time saving, so that you don't have to restrict your teaching to the class, but they can continue their lessons even at home. They can continue maybe writing assignments, maybe preparing projects using the aids that are available. Allows effective networking. Students can network with each other through the mobiles and through computers, through emails and different ways of networking. Allows easy sharing of resources. So it's very easy for the teacher to share resources with all the students. You can share anything with, lots of students, and any kind of, it can be a video, it can be written content, it can be pictures, it can be different ways, it can be an audio file. So you can share different kinds of resources with scholars everywhere, and effective accessibility to resources. So since we have the internet, so we are all, resources are also available to us easily. It's easy to search for relevant material and to access it with online libraries and online material being available. What are some of the benefits using digital technologies that could bring to teachers and students? Access to a greater range of resources, access to learning materials 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So all the time they have access to material, making it easier for the teacher to plan and manage learning activities. So since we have the technology at hand, we can plan and manage the learning activities, and it's easy to store whatever content we have created in the drive or any other software through which we can use it, which we can access later. So we can plan and we can manage. It helps to increase communication among students between classes. Students can communicate through technology, and it also improves the teaching and grading efficiencies. So even grading becomes easier, and it's less of manual work and more of automatic kind of work. So less dependence on human mind and human efficiency, but more on the computer. But it's very effective and fast. A few applications that are found on computers and can conveniently be used to supplement teaching to promote learning and motivation within English language learners are Microsoft PowerPoint, digital storybooks, Blocksters, YouTube videos, Quizlet, and other applications too. So I'll talk about the use of the PowerPoint, Microsoft PowerPoint, how to use it in the class. It is a very important device, important application, easy to navigate through, allows students to work at their own pace, and students can create lists, sequence of events, of similarity and different charts. These options allow students to show what they know by employing both text and visuals. So you have this option in the Microsoft PowerPoint. Students can, or even, the teachers can use text, you can use content of different kinds. They can use written content and visuals, and they can demonstrate their understanding through this kind of presentation. Such projects also permit the students to work on content that is specific to their understanding. So whatever content they want to work on, they have this flexibility. Students have the option to use vocabulary, concepts, or ideas when connecting words and pictures together, which strengthens their command on English. So, for example, we have in our first year, we have the language lab where we ask the students, to prepare. It is part of the graded exercise. So they are asked to prepare a presentation in groups, and we allow them, to decide their group members, and we allot them group topics, and we give them enough time, to prepare the presentation, and towards the end of the semester, they are allowed to present their the presentation, and also, their um, uh, presentation is graded, and those marks are counted in the final assessment. So when they are making a PowerPoint presentation, they collaborate, they interact with one another, they research on the given topic, they, follow the teacher's instructions regarding how to make it better, how to make it more effective. And ultimately, when they are presenting it finally to the whole class and with the faculty around, it's a learning experience for them, because they are also, explaining and defining and arguing and, demonstrating what they have already prepared through the PowerPoint. So they are speaking about it, they are explaining it, they're responding to questions. In this way, the PowerPoint becomes a very effective means, to teach language to them. We can also create digital storybooks through Microsoft PowerPoint. Digital storybooks are a series of slides which share a common theme while incorporating pictures, words, and videos. So you have a series of slides, and there is a common theme, and you can insert words, you can insert pictures, you can insert videos. So some critics say that digital storybooks allows the kind of experience within the school which will stimulate thought and feeling, as well as train the skills of listening, speaking, reading, and writing, the core language skills, LSRW. So they allow this kind of experience and improve the students in these four skills. Story can be that kind of experience. When they are creating a digital story, they are, utilizing all these skills, and it is an enjoyable experience for them, not a tedious kind of exercise, but something which they would enjoy while collaborating and preparing. Digital books are a strong tool to use for presentation for students. So once a digital book is complete, they should share their creation with the rest of the class or with a small group of peers. So they present their digital story. Since there are words written and it contains pictures and videos, they are not very much stressed that they have to, speak a lot or explain a lot, because there is a lot of material on the digital book which is easy to understand and view, and they just have to supplement it with some kind of explanation. So there is not too much of pressure, and also they don't have to worry about speaking language correctly, because the stories will be displayed on the screen and it will be easier for them to narrate them. So this is, a step-by-step process, and as they undertake this exercise, they gain confidence. They respond to questions, they respond to queries, and they try to express themselves in the best way they can. So it is a learning experience for them. So pictures, because they are part of the digital storybooks, they are very effective because they are appealing to the eye, and they make lessons memorable and motivating. And since they integrate the visual and the listening senses, because the students are using pictures, videos, and also some audio when they're speaking, or maybe audio files, it results in an increased understanding of the spoken and the written word. So there is more exposure to the language, more exposure to oral content, and so there is an increased understanding. So in this way, it is more effective than just a classroom lecture or reading from a book, or browsing an internet site. So that way, it is more creative, and because it's more participatory, it is more effective. Another method is using a flipped classroom style through Microsoft PowerPoint. A flipped classroom is an instructional strategy, a blended kind of learning that reverses the traditional learning environment by delivering the instructional content, often online outside of the classroom. So the material is shared with the students, the instructional content is shared with the students, and it's a kind of blended learning, because they can access the material whenever they have time and whenever they are comfortable. And the classroom is mainly meant for discussing the given content, and exploring different aspects of it, maybe discussing and arguing, talking about it. And there are more activities involved in the classroom than just reading that content. So it moves activities that may have been traditionally considered homework into the classroom. So what is normally the homework, the assignment kind of work, that is done in the classroom, and the reading and the understanding is done at home. So in a flipped classroom, students watch online lectures, collaborate in online discussions, or carry out research at home while engaging in concepts in the classroom with the guidance of a mentor. So at home, they are watching the lectures, online lectures, they are having discussions or online discussions, or they are, researching on the given topic. But in the classroom, they are engaging with the concepts. There is no teaching, but there is discussion, there is some activity, there is exploring that idea. So more of interactive kind of activity in the classroom. So that is why it's called a flipped classroom. the PowerPoint slides can be used in this way. Flipping the classroom, the teachers use PowerPoint slides as a way to lecture their students at home. So the lecturing is done through the PowerPoint slides. By adding information, websites, and video clips, they would like the students to read and watch in order to retrieve the important information. So all the material, relevant material, is presented on the PowerPoint slides, and they are allowed to access it later on when they are at home. They can read and watch it and retrieve the important information. By using this application and being able to use a variety of media types, video, audio, and visual within PowerPoint, teachers are able to interact with their students, reaching all level learners. So there are a variety of media types, both video, audio, and visual, and the teachers can, reach all kind of levels of students. They can reach the students who have a lower capability, and also those who are very bright. So it's easy for the teacher to interact with them all, because the content is available. It is accessible to them. They can go through it anytime they want. They can, repeat. They can go through it again and again. So that way there is more understanding of the given content. Lecturing at home with the study material directly in front of the students allows every student to read over and interpret the information in a way which makes sense to them. So if the PowerPoint slides are in the lecture mode, the study material is accessible to them, and they can read over and interpret the information in whatever way that makes sense to them to understand it better. There is no distraction, and they have the opportunity to read and watch and listen to the information as many times as they need, and they can take notes also. So they can, ensure that they have understood the given content. They also have the option to read the content at their own pace without having to worry about missing any information or running out of time. So since the lecture has been prepared through a PowerPoint slide, uh, they can go through it comfortably, and they don't have to worry about missing something or getting late. So there are numerous websites which teachers can add to the PowerPoint slide, and these websites can be accessed by the students, and they can get further material through those websites. Another, technique that we can use for English language classroom is teaching with blogs. Again, very effective method and very engaging method, because students nowadays are fond of sharing their thoughts and ideas with their friends, with their peers, and you find them always on Instagram, always on Snapchat, and WhatsApp, and Facebook. In fact, has now become outdated. They have many other means to establish contact with each other. So blogs is one of the methods, through which students can be engaged in reading and writing activities, and they can publish their writing easily, and they have an authentic audience which can, respond to the blogs. When students write entries and comment on the entries of their peers, blogs become an integral part of a lively literacy community. So students, when they are asked to write entries, and they're also asked to comment on the entries of their peers, their classmates, so it becomes a kind of community, which is continuously interacting with each other over important issues. Students can post entries on topics as journal or diary entries, reflections on their writing process, details on their research projects, commentary on recent events or readings, and drafts for other writings that they are doing. So whatever, either the teacher can give them topics on which they can write, or they can be encouraged, to share whatever they want to. So whatever important and useful they want to share on the blogs can be done by them. And all these, all this information, when it is posted on the blog and is accessible to other students, then they get response, they get feedback, and it's again an interactive kind of activity. Once a student posts an entry, others in the class can respond, provide supportive feedback, and offer additional suggestions. So it's very exciting for them, to get the response of teachers and students, their friends, and they getting feedback and additional suggestions. It makes them popular. It makes them feel important, and it's again a kind of engagement with language, because they are drafting content for the blog. They might be using visuals also, but we encourage them to use some kind of written content. So because they are drafting content, so it is also an engagement with language. By writing and commenting on blogs, students write for real readers. So it is not, that as if they're answering questions in an exam and only the teacher is reading the answers. But when they are writing and commenting on each other's blogs, they are writing for real readers. And if they make it open to other people, whatever community they want, community of people to read their blogs, then, real readers will respond to their work. As a result, students focus on clear communication and get immediate feedback. So they want to do their best on the blog, they want to communicate in a very clear manner, and they get instant feedback on whether they communicate effectively or they need to improve. So if there is any problem, then people will tell them, the teacher will tell them that they need to improve. And if they're satisfactory, then they can even further do better. Any genre that a student can write with pen on a piece of paper can also be written online as a blog entry. So whatever a student can draft with a pen and a piece of paper, it can be used online too. So this allows flexibility to the teacher to use blogging in different innovative ways to engage students in their class. So asking them to write a short poem, or explaining a short article, or responding to some newspaper report, giving their views for or against a given topic. So anything that they can write on a piece of paper, they can also write on the blog. And this way the teacher can be innovative and creative and think of ways in which she can engage them in blogging exercises. But there is one issue, that because there can be anybody can access these sites, the teachers have to be very careful to ensure that the students work safely and avoid inappropriate content. And also the teachers can teach them to change the settings of the blog so that they may control who can view their blog or post comments on it, because it may not be a wise decision to allow it for the general public. And there are several free blog hosts: LiveJournal, MySpace, Blogger, Wix, and also some course management software such as Blackboard, Ning, or Moodle. They also include blogging tools. So any of these free blog sites can be used, to open a blog account, a blogging account, and students can then, they can enrich that account by adding data, adding pictures, adding more content, and then they can weekly post some kind of written content, some kind of material which can be commented on by others. And another way of using blogs is blogging with photo voice. So photo voice is a technique that has a participants take photos in response to a prompt, reflect on the meaning behind some of their photos, and share the photos to find common themes. So it is a kind of research device, a research technique, but it can be used for blogging too. So the teacher gives them a prompt, gives them a topic, a suggestion, and allows them, to think about it, and then, click photographs related to that given topic. And nowadays students are very, they are very savvy with their mobile cameras, and they are, keen to use it. So if you give them a topic, they ask them to click pictures, ask them to share the photos and on the blog. And when they post the photos and they talk about it, they find some common themes, they find some kind of similarity with others, and something unique also in their own photos, and then it again becomes a topic of discussion and exchange of views about the given topic. So in this lesson, students are given a prompt, so a topic, a suggestion. They take photographs in response to it and post reflections on a blog. So they take photographs, they paste those photographs, and they post their reflections. It is a creative activity in which participants express themselves by taking photographs that reflect their perspective about specific issues. So naturally, as everybody would know, that everybody has his or her own perspective, and when I share my own photograph that I have clicked, it is a reflection of what I think about a given issue, what I find catching about a given issue. So in this way, they can express themselves, they can explain their thoughts, they can explain their points of view through the photograph. So photo voice, blogging with photo voice encourages those students who often don't speak. It helps them to voice their experiences, perspectives, and analysis through the photographs they capture. So sometimes, students are not very confident. They hesitate to speak. They hesitate to, open up in front of others. So if they're allowed to, use photographs in their blogs, they can then talk about their experiences and they can share their perspectives with others because they have those photographs to support their point of view. Coupled with group discussion, blogging with photo voice can help students to overcome their hesitation while sharing their thoughts. So if the teacher, includes group discussion with using photo voice for blogging, then, in this way, they talk about the material, they talk about that topic, and they explain their pictures, and that, helps them to overcome their hesitation. This activity promotes dialogue in class, and students look forward to sharing their photographs on their blogs. It is because, it is a way for them, an option for them to share what they have clicked, and showcasing what they have clicked, and also commenting on the photographs posted by others. So again, there is a dialogue in class because of the pictures that they have clicked and shared through the blog. Again, an effective way of, language teaching and learning through blogs. There's another website. This is called Blogster. As we have many websites, which, the initial versions the initial versions you can use with free of cost. You don't have to pay for them, and maybe if you go for the advanced features, then you have to take some kind of subscription. So this is a website that allows students to create an interactive poster, which can include words, visuals, audio, and easy navigation to other websites. Blogsters positively promote students' engagement while also having them interact with information using various media types and formats and present that information in the class. So if you allow them, to prepare a poster, an interactive poster using Blogster, so then it increases students' engagement, allows them to interact with information, and they are dealing with different media types. So presenting that information, presenting that poster. So again, it becomes a very creative and very useful activity for language learning. Similarly, YouTube can be used to enhance student learning. Students are very much interested, in recording themselves, sharing their own thoughts through recorded videos. So students can use YouTube in order to find videos which match vocabulary terms or grammatical content they are learning about. So either they can use it as a study source, a study material. So they look for material which is relevant to them, and they try to understand it, they try to listen to it. And it increases their interest in the lessons and allows them, to focus more on the given topic, and, using different resources that are available, not just some limited content, but different content that is available online. So it is in this way, student learning is enhanced through YouTube. It's easier, to watch and listen to a lesson, to a lecture, than, reading through a book. So if somebody explains something on YouTube, it's easier to catch and comprehend that. So again, you are making connections with the language items, and you are interacting with the given text in this way. Another way in which YouTube can be used is, asking them to make presentations and, recording them. So that happens when, especially if, there is some kind of graded assignment. So you can ask them to prepare videos, and you can give them topics to explain, and, post those videos later on YouTube. So again, it's the kind of, a kind of presentation that they are making, and they try to perform their best in such kinds of presentations. So and also you get to know how fluent they are, and how they themselves also get to know whether they need to improve, to be able to speak extempore without the support of any written text in front of them. So explaining, persuading, convincing people. So it's a very, very useful exercise, which can be planned for language teaching. Quizlet, an online education service, makes it simple for students and teachers to create and share online learning materials. So this is an online learning tool. It offers tools for students to make flashcards, practice spelling, play learning games, test their knowledge, and collaborate with other students. So it can be utilized by the teachers, and give them assignments or give them some activity to do. And they can use it to learn language and also test their language, test their knowledge, and also collaborate with others. Now, as teachers, which of the following online resources have you used in your English language class? Have you used any of these in your classes? TED, iTunes, or Merlot, or mobile educational apps? I'm sorry, there's some disturbance. Can you please, for 2 minutes, I'll just take your leave. Some disturbance, which I just want to stop. I'm sorry for the gap. So, which of these online resources have you used? We need to explore these resources, to make our classes more effective. So you have TED Ed. These are flipped classroom resources. So there is material here which can be utilized to prepare lessons. So you have videos here, videos which can be, depending on the topic that is being covered, or the content that the teacher wants to focus on. Teachers can make use of this online resource, to create lessons and prepare assignments, prepare MCQs, and test or in fact engage the students' attention on a given content. You have iTunes U. This has videos, document, and courses. You have Merlot. This is Open Educational Resource Library. Then you have mobile educational apps, Google Play education apps. Lots of educational apps are there. You also have MIT OpenCourseWare course resources, so which is accessible. Much of the content is accessible to everybody in the world, and very good quality material, which can be utilized. Students, teachers can select the relevant content and use it for their classes. You also have the Creative Commons search. You find free to use content on the web through the Creative Commons search. So we should explore this again to prepare our lessons. You also have the Open Educational Resource Commons OER library, which again is accessible and materials can be downloaded and used. You have Wikimedia Commons, free to use media files, which can be again teacher can improvise and use them in the classroom. So a lot of online resources are available, which are free of cost. And again, the teacher needs to plan so that they can be utilized in the best possible way, and keeping in view the aims or objectives that the teacher has for a particular class. So you have TED Ed, which has many inspiring videos and interactive lessons. These can be used for classroom or for home assignments. These are flipped classroom resources. You can prepare sessions, you can prepare lessons, and you can allow them to access them. And later on, you can have some activity where they are responding to those resources. You have iTunes U, videos, documents, and courses. The hundreds of courses available that can be used on iPad and iPhone, only for iPad and iPhone. Again, they are free of cost. You have OER Commons, library of OER from around the world, searchable based upon education sector and subject. You can also, share your own resources to share with the world. Whatever you want to upload, you can do that. So then you have Wikimedia Commons, free to use media files, licensed media and images that you can use in your teaching. So it's permitted to use them. MIT OpenCourseWare course resources, free courses and resources which you can use from one of the world's leading universities. Then you have the Creative Commons search, find free to use content on the web. The search engine allows you to find resources, images, or any other material that have been made and available under a Creative Commons license for reuse. So you are permitted to use that content free of cost. Then you have the OER library, Merlot, peer-reviewed OER repository, so that you can use the material that other educationists are also presenting. Content includes resources, lesson plans, and even entire courses. You can also add your own resources to share with the world. So this is standard good quality material which you can access. Mobile educational apps in the iTunes Store or Google Play education apps. So there are several apps, in the iTunes Store for iPhone and iPad, and also Google Play education apps. Almost any kind of learning activity can be done through these apps. Then there are several good websites for English language teaching and learning. I have just made a list of a few which are active and which are useful, and also which are free of cost, except that in some there might be some charge later on as you move on to the advanced level, but the basic level is free of cost. Onelanguage.com, ABA English, BOSS, Blogs Exchange. This is learning and interchange of languages, Spanish and English. Effortless English, lots of videos and podcasts, free resources. EFST, Online English Proficiency Test. So it is a practice resource for students looking to pass their language proficiency exams or find an accurate measure of their current English level. So they can enroll and they can give the online English proficiency test here. You have English grammar exercise. It is again a free resource. Explains grammar rules in a simple and clear way. You have English page, free online English lessons, which provide ESL, EFL resources, English as a special language, English as a foreign language resources. You have English Speak, learn spoken English for free. So it's difficult for learners, to be fluent in speech. So such kinds of apps, they are helpful because students, can interact with the apps and they can improve their spoken English, and that gives them confidence, and also ensures that they can respond if they are talked to in English. So this way, such apps are very useful. Then you also have the ESL Pod, English as a second language podcast. ESOL courses, free English lessons online. Exam English, free practice tests for the most important international ESL exams, English as a special language exam. So all these sites are available. Funky English, again a network which you have a social network for anyone who wants to improve their English. English lessons, activities, quizzes, and English forums. Then you have gap fillers, English language on the go, 15 minutes each day, a new word via email, a short grammar quiz, and a video news exercise. English language practice through podcast, YouTube video, interactive English grammar quizzes, all with answers and explanations. Again, a very useful website because it provides you a lot of content, and even the students can use it themselves, and you can use material from this for your classroom. How do you do Speak to Learn English? Connect with native speakers from UK or USA and learners of English from around the world. So the resource persons are native speakers who are who use the language very comfortably, and the learners of English. So you get in touch with them all if you use this website. Learn English with the British Council. So this is the British Council website. Learn English gives a lot of content and online resources for learning the language. Leo Network, Learn English Network has been helping people to learn English for free since 1999. Has been used for a long time. Pearl and English, the best free resources for learning English. Talk English, basics of English grammar for speaking and writing. So students can clarify their doubts of grammar for both for speaking and writing. Blogger.com, create unique and beautiful blogs for free. Again, a blogging site. And you also have language learning apps, lots of apps, which are available for learner use, which can be downloaded. And again, initially you can use them for free. You can use Duolingo. This is an app for learning languages for free. It can be used on the Android phone. It can be used on iPhone and iPad. Duolingo lessons are made up of a range of activities. It adapts to the user's learning style. The gamified approach of the app helps you learn English quickly by just spending 20 minutes a day. The exercises are tailored to help the users learn and review vocabulary effectively, so they can improve their vocabulary through Duolingo. It is also one of the best free English learning apps. Helps you to master new words, phrases, and grammar with game-like lessons. So it's easy. Lots of visuals are there. Lots of vocabulary exercises are there. Very useful and effective. And it's not only for English, it's for several languages, but you can learn English through it also. Then you have Improve English word games. Again, you can use it on the Android phone, you can use it on iPhone, iPad. This is a popular app for learning English. You can use it to learn English as an additional language, improve your English. You have word games and you have short lessons which help you to improve your English skills. Also, it's an English vocabulary builder app to learn new words. It helps you to learn and improve English. It works on scientific algorithms, makes it very easy to learn English through word games. Then you have Sentence Master Pro, again a fantastic language app aimed at helping young people improve their language abilities. It focuses on the building of sentences, and using gamification, the app encourages users to challenge themselves in a game environment to match words together to form a sentence. So it helps, a step-by-step kind of learning of English when the students are allowed, to create sentences and create correct sentences. So helps you to improve your construction of sentences and express yourself. Then you have Memrise, learn languages free. Again, an English language learning app helps you to start your journey with some English lessons for beginners, or if you want to improve your English. This is also designed to make this process fun, easy, and addictive. You enjoy and you learn the best you can through this app. Learn English Grammar. This is UK edition. Again, through British Council. Again, accessible app for learning English designed to help to improve your grammar. Prepared by native speakers, so it's very effective. Then you have Time Speak English. This is an app which is popular in India nowadays, powered by English Edge. It's a mobile-based spoken English learning app. It's available. If you just go through the Times of India, you'll find the icon there. So it's provided by them. It enhances the learning experience through innovative use of technology, providing a unique, personalized, and self-learning experience in a fun and interactive environment. So lots of videos are there, and repetitive exercises are there, and every week they present new content so that you can explore that content and learn more of the language. Then you have Hello English, again a free English learning course. More than 50 million learners use it for spoken English, grammar, and vocabulary building. So can be used by students and can be used by teachers also for including some content in their lesson. So this is what I wanted to share today in this session. You can these are the references that I used. You are free to ask questions, and if you have any queries, you can ask me. So it requires some time and effort, to use these resources for the classroom, but I think they can be planned and utilized.
Okay. Thank you, madam. I hope everybody has enjoyed the session and they will get a feel about the basically regarding the English language for their day-to-day teaching and learning point of view. So, ma'am, I think there are few questions. If you allow, then probably I can read it for you, ma'am.
Yeah, sure.
Vidyasagar Kumar, he is asking that how to do practice online for pass TOEFL and IELTS for get admission in higher education foreign country. Is any tutorial platform for do practicing or qualify this examination?
I think British Council has material. British Council website has material, for TOEFL and IELTS exams, and Cambridge English also has material. So I think we need to explore. I'll have to find out exactly, but there is a lot of material available for these exams, and of course, paid resources are also there, but free of cost online resources are available.
Okay. Okay. Another question is, ma'am, from the Praveen. Is there any free app to check the English grammar and language for thesis or literature?
Check the grammar or sorry?
Language,
Okay.
English language for thesis and literature.
Yeah, we are using Grammarly at MNIT, which is a very important, very useful software, and it suggests, if there are errors, if there are possible ways to improve the written content, it gives you suggestions. So my own experience of Grammarly is very good, and I often use it when I am drafting some content, just to ensure that I am not using language in an incorrect manner. So I think MNIT has a subscription to Grammarly, but others also, people can have access to it.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Another question is that whatever the resources that you have mentioned, ma'am, all these English language resources are freely available or not?
Most of them are available, and as I told you that the basic level initial levels are free of cost. But if you want the advanced versions, then they do charge you. But I think for our use, for our classroom use, I think the basic level is enough.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Sai Kishore would like to know that are there any app to train one if for English proficiency test like please mention some Versant, Delhi or Vantage. I am not sure whether I have pronounced it correctly. but it is BELI, Belly
Okay.
Percent for a proficiency of English.
Is there any material? I did talk about an app, which you can use to check your proficiency. I'll just show it to you. EFST, an online English proficiency test. So you can the students can check their own proficiency through this online proficiency test. It's very useful and also gets this helps us to know what kind of where do we stand and whether we need to improve. That's what I think.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Probably the last question, ma'am. Silpa Power would like to know that, ma'am, you have shown so many apps to improve the English. Which one will be the best for us at this stage to improve English? So probably she is asking about the starting level. Which one is the best so that she can start?
Hello English is a good app, very useful, and starts from the basic level and moves on to higher levels. I think it's good. So that you can explore. Even TimeSpeak is good because they provide new content and very current content, talk about current issues. So it's very interesting also. Video and written content is available. Somebody asked me about a blog. I think if you have a Google account, you can easily create a blog. Just you have to give details about your own email account, and with that they connect and they help you to prepare the main page of the blog. And then you're allowed to add additional resources. You can add more pages. You can add more content about yourself and all. So it's not difficult. If you have your own email account, you can create blog through a website.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Probably the participants want your PPT so that they can get means
Yeah, I can
about
share.
these resources. So probably we will share with them
Yeah.
with your permission, ma'am. Okay.
Of course.
So thank you, ma'am, for a wonderful talk. And despite of busy schedule, because I know that your own workshop is also going on currently, but despite of that, you have spent time with us. So thank you, ma'am.
Thank you
Hope
so
to see you again, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thanks for inviting me. Thank you.
Okay, participants. So with this, we are ending our day 10 session for today. There are few announcements for you. Tomorrow we have an exam, final exam. That is a quiz 4, which is available from 1 to 2. So I request all of you to attend that particular quiz. Tomorrow we have a last day where we will be having around actually scheduled session is 2, but probably we would like to include one more session regarding the Canvas, because I got so many queries regarding the Canvas and people would like to know. So probably we will also take care of that particular session, and we are planning to have our validatory session around 5:30 to 6. Okay, that exact time we will let you know through Canvas announcement. So that's all from our end. Please be remember, tomorrow we have a quiz, so you need to attend that. Okay, thank you. Thank you, all of you. Thank you, ma'am. Have a nice day.